Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read Ezra 7 to 10, Nehemiah 1 to 3, Proverbs 14, and Psalm 22. Let's get started. Now after this, in the reign of Artaxerxes king of Persia, Ezra the son of Seraiah, son of Azariah, son of Hilkiah, son of Sham, son of Zadok, son of Ahitub, son of Amariah, son of Azariah, son of Moriah, son of Zerahiah, son of Uzzi, son of Buki, son of Abishua, son of Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the chief priest. This Ezra went out from Babylonia. He was a scribe skilled in the Lord, measures that the Lord, the God of Israel, had given. And the king granted him all that he asked, for the hand of the Lord his God was on him. And they went up also to Jerusalem in the 7th year of Artaxerxes the king, some of the people of Israel, and some of the priests and Levites, and singers and gatekeepers, and the temple servants. And Ezra came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was in the 7th year of the king. For on the 1st day of the 1st month he began to go out from Babylonia. And on the 1st day of the 5th month he came to Jerusalem, for the good hand of his God was on him. For Ezra set his heart to study the law and to do it, and to teach his statutes and rules in Israel. This is copied of the letter that King Artaxerxes gave to Ezra the priest, the scribe, and a man learned in matters of the commandments of the Lord and the statutes for Israel. Artaxerxes king of kings to Ezra the priest, the scribe of the law, the God of heaven and east. And now I make a decree that anyone of the people of Israel, of their priests or Levites in my kingdom, who freely offers to go to Jerusalem, may go with you. For you are sent by my king and his 7 counselors to make inquiries about you and Jerusalem according to the law of your God, which is in your hand, and also to carry the silver and the gold that the king and his counselors freely offered to the God of Israel, whose dwelling is in Jerusalem, with all the silver and gold that you shall find in the whole province of Babylonia, with the freewill offerings of the people and the priests vow willingly for the house of their God as in Jerusalem. With this money, then you shall with all diligence buy bulls, rams, and lambs with their grain offerings and their drink offerings. You shall offer them on the altar of the house of your God that is in Jerusalem. Whatever seems good to you and to your brothers to do with the rest of the silver and gold, you may do according to the will of your God. The vessels that have been given you for the service of the house of your God, you shall deliver before the God of Jerusalem. And whatever else is required for the house of your God, which it falls to you to provide, you may provide out of the king's treasury. And I, Artaxerxes the king, make a decree to all the treasures of the province beyond the river. Whatever Ezra the priest and the prescribe of the Lord, the God of heaven, requires of you, let it be done with all diligence, up to 100 tons of silver, and 100 cores of wheat, 100 baths of wine, 100 baths of oil, and salt, without prescribing how much. Whatever is decreed by the God of heaven, let it be done in full for the house of God of heaven, lest his wrath be against the realm of the king and his sons. He has notified you that it shall not be lawful to impose tribute, custom, or toll on anyone of the priests, and Levites, the singers, the doorkeepers, and temple servants, or other servants of the house of God. And you, Ezra, according to the wisdom of your God that is in your hand, appoint magistrates and judges who may judge all the people in the province beyond the river, who are all such as know the laws of your God, and those who do not know you shall teach you. Whoever will not obey the law of your God and the law of the king, the judgment be strictly executed on him, whether for death or for banishment or for confiscation of his goods or for imprisonment. Blessed be the Lord, the God of your fathers, who brought such a thing as this into the heart of the king, to beautify the house of the Lord that is in Jerusalem, and who extended to me his servant's love before the king's counselors, and before all the king's mighty officers. I took courage, for the hand of the Lord my God was on me, and I gathered leading men from Israel to go out with me. These are the heads of their fathers' houses, and this is the genealogy of those who went out with me from Babylonia, in the reign of Artaxerxes the king. Of the sons of Phinehas, Gershom; of the sons of Ithamar, Daniel; of the sons of David, Hattush; of the sons of Shechaniah; of the sons of Parosh, Zechariah; with whom you registered 150 men. Of the sons of Pathmoab, Elionai, the son of Zerahiah, and with him 200 men. Of the sons of Zati, Shechaniah, the son of Jehaziel, and with him 300 men. Of the sons of Aden, Ebed, the son of Jonathan, and with him 50 men. Of the sons of Elan, Jeshua, the son of Athaliah, with him 70 men. Of the sons of Shephatiah, Zebediah, the son of Michael, and with him 80 men. Of the sons of Jah, Obadiah, the son of Jehiel, and with him 218 men. Of the sons of Bani, Shalom, the son of Josiphiah, and with him 160 men. And of the sons of Bebai, Zechariah, the son of Bebai, and with him 28 men. Of the sons of Asgad, Johanan, the son of Hakatan, and with him 110 men. Of the sons of Adonikam, those who came later, their names being Eliphalet, Jewel, and Shemaiah, and with them 60 men. Of the sons of Bigvai, Uthai and Zechariah, and with them 70 men. I gathered them to the river that runs to Ahava, and there we camped 3 days. And as I reviewed the people and the priests, I found there none of the sons of Levi. And I sent for Eliezer, Ariel, Shemaiah, Joel, Nathan, Jair, Elnathan, who were men of insight. And sent them to Iddo, the leading man of the place, Cassiphia, telling them what to say to Iddo and his brothers and his humble servants in this place, Cassiphia. At the place Cassiphia, namely to send his ministers for the house of our God. And by the good hand of our God on us, they brought us a man of discretion of the sons of Mali, the son of Levi, the son of Ezra, namely Sherebiah with his sons and kinsmen. And 18, also Hashabiah with him, Jeshaiah of the sons of Merari, and with his kinsmen and their sons, 20. And I was 220 of the temple servants, named David and his officials, and set apart to attend the Levites. These were all mentioned by name. And I proclaimed a fast there at the river Ahava. And we might humble ourselves before I go, to seek for a safe journey for ourselves, our children, and all our goods, for I was ashamed to ask the king for a band of soldiers and horsemen to protect us against the enemy on our way, since we had told the king, the hand of our God is for good on all who seek him, and the power of his wrath is against all who forsake him. So he fasted and implored our God for this, and he listened to our entreaty. And I set apart 12 of the leading priests, Sherebiah, Hashabiah, and 10 of their kinsmen with them. And I weighed out to the silver and the gold, and the vessels of the offering for the house of our God, the king and his counselors, and his old lords, and all Israel their present had offered. I weighed out into their hands 650 tons of silver, and silver vessels worth 200 tons, and 100 tons of gold, 200 bowls of gold worth 1,000 darks, and 2 vessels of fine bright bronze as precious as gold. And I said to them, You are holy to the Lord, and the vessels are holy, and the silver and the gold are for your offering to the Lord. They go to your father. Guard them and keep them until you weigh them before the chief priests and the Levites and the heads of fathers' houses in Israel at Jerusalem, within the chambers of the house of the Lord. So the priests and the Levites took over the weight of the silver and the gold and the vessels to bring them to Jerusalem, to the house of our God. And we departed from the river Ahava on the 12th day of the first month, to go to Jerusalem. The hand of our God was on us, and he delivered us from the hand of the enemy, and from ambushes by the way. We came to Jerusalem, and there we remained 3 days. On the 4th day, within the house of our God, the silver and the gold and the vessels were weighed into the hands of Meremoth the priest, sons of Uriah, and with him were Eleazar the son of Phinehas, and with him were the Levites, Josabad the son of Jeshua, and Noadiah the son of Binnui. The whole was counted and weighed, and the weight of everything was recorded. At the time those who had come from captivity, they returned exiles offered burnt offerings to God of Israel, 12 bulls for Israel, 26 rams, 27 lambs, sin offering, 12 male goats. All this was burnt offering to the Lord. The Ezra delivered the king's commissions to the king's satraps and to the governors of the province beyond the river, and they aided the people in the house of God. After these things had been done, the officials approached me and said, The people of Israel, the priests and the Levites had not separated themselves from the people of the lands with their abominations, from the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites, while they had taken some of their daughters to be wives for themselves and for their sons, so that the holy race has mixed itself with the peoples of the land. In this faithlessness, the hand of the officials and chief men has been foremost. As soon as I heard this, I tore my garment and my cloak, and pulled hair from my head and beard, and saddle pulled, and all trembled at the words of the God of Ezra. It's the faithlessness of the returned exiles gathered around me while I saddle pulled until the evening sacrifice. And after the evening sacrifice, I rose from my fasting, with my garment and cloak torn, and I fell upon my knees and spread out my hands to the Lord my God, saying, O my God, I am ashamed and blush to lift my face to you, my God, for our iniquities have risen higher than our heads, and our guilt has gone up to the heaven. From the days of our fathers to this day we have been in great guilt, and for our iniquities we, our kings, and our praise have been given into the hand of the kings of the land, to the sword, to captivity, to plunder, and to utter shame as it is today. And now for a brief moment favour is being shown by the Lord our God, and leave us a remnant, and to give us a secure hold within his holy place. And our God may brighten our eyes and grant us a liberal reviving in our slavery, for we are slaves, yet our God has not forsaken us in our slavery, but has extended to us in steadfast love, and for the kings of Persia to grant us some reviving, to serve the house of our God, to repair its ruins, and to give us protection in Judea and Jerusalem. And now, our God, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken your commandments, and the thing which you commanded my sons and prophets, saying, The land which you are entering to take possession of it is a land impure with the impurity of the peoples of the land, with the abomination that are filled it from end to end with their uncleanness. And therefore do not give your daughters to their sons, and I take their daughters for your sons, and never seek their peace or prosperity, that you may be shown to eat the good of the land and leave for an inheritance to your children forever. And after all that has come upon us for our evil deeds and for our great guilt, seeing that ye are God, have punished us less than our iniquity deserve, and have given us such a remnant as this. Shall I break your commandments again, and intermarry with the people, practice these abominations? Would you not be angry with us until you consume us, so that there should be no remnant, and not any to escape? And Lord, the God of Israel, you are just, for we are left a remnant that has escaped. As it is today, behold, we are before you in our guilt, and none can stand before you because of this. While Ezra prayed and made confession, weeping and casting himself down before the house of God, a great assembly of men, women, and children gathered him out of Israel, for the people wept bitterly. And Shechaniah the son of Jehiel of the sons of Elam addressed Ezra, we have broken faith with our God and have married foreign women from the peoples of the land. And even now that is for Israel in spite of this. Therefore let us make a covenant with our God to put away all these wives and their children, according to the counsel of my Lord and of those who tremble at the commandment of our God. Let that be done according to what the Lord. Arise, for it is your task, and we are with you. Be strong and do it. Then Ezra arose and made the leading priests and the Levites and lawyers take an oath that they would do as had been said. So they took the oath. Then Ezra withdrew from before the house of God and went to the chamber of Jehohanan the son of Elisha, where he spent the night, neither eating bread nor drinking water. Where he was mourning over the faithlessness of the exiles, and a proclamation was made throughout Judah and Jerusalem to all the returned exiles that they should assemble at Jerusalem, and that if anyone did not come within 3 days, the officials and the elders and all property should be forfeited. And he himself banned from the congregation of the exiles, and all the men of Judah and Benjamin assembled at Jerusalem within the 3 days. It was the 9th month, on the 23rd of the month, and all the people sat in the open square before the house of God, trembling because of this man and because of the heavy rain. And Ezra the priest stood up and said to them, you broken faith and married foreign women, and so increase the guilt of Israel, and then make confession to the Lord, the God of your fathers, and do as well, separate yourselves from the people of the land, and from the foreign wives. And all the assembly answered with a loud voice, yes, sir, we must do as you have said. But the people are many, and it is a time of heavy rain. We cannot stand in the open, nor is this a task for 1 day or 2. For we have greatly transgressed in this matter. Our officials stand for the whole assembly, that all in our cities who have taken foreign wives come at an appointed time. And with them the elders and judges of every city, until the fierce wrath of our God over this matter is turned away from us. And then Jonathan the son of Asahel, and Jahaziel the son of Tikvah opposed this, and Mishal and Shabbathai the Levites upon them, and their 10 exiles did so. Ezra the priest elected men, heads of fathers' houses, according to their fathers' houses, and each of them designated by name. On the first day of the 10th month, they sat down to examine the matter, and by the first day of the first month they had come to an end of all the men who had married foreign women. Now there were found some of the sons of the priests who had married foreign women, Isaiah, Eliezer, Jairo, and Gedaliah, and of the sons of Jeshua, the sons of Jozadak, and his brothers. And he pledged themselves to put away their wives, and the guilt offering was a ram of the flock for their guilt. Of the sons of Immer, Hanani and Zebediah. Of the sons of Haram, Maaseiah, Elijah, Shimei, Jehiel, and Uzziah. Of the sons of Pasha, Elianai, Maaseiah, Ishmael, and Nathanael, Josaphat, and Elisah. Of the Levites, Joseph had Shimei, Kileab, Hethlehia, Judah, and Eliezer. Of the singers, Eliashib. Of the gatekeepers, Shalom, Telem, and Uri. And of Israel, the sons of Pash, Ramiah, Ezra, Malchijah, Benjamin, Elazar, Hashabiah, and Benaiah. Of the sons of Elam, Mattaniah, Zechariah, Jehiel, Abdi, Jeremoth, and Elijah. Of the sons of Zatu, Eliah, Elisha, Mattaniah, Jeremoth, Zabbai, and Aziza. Of the sons of Eli were Jehohanan, Hananiah, Zabbai, and Athaliah. Of the sons of Bani were Mishal, Malach, Adaiah, Joshua, Sheol, and Jeremoth. Of the sons of Path, Adnah, Richelo, Benaiah, Maaseiah, Mattaniah, Bezalel, Benui, and Maaseiah. Of the sons of Haran, Eliezer, Ishijah, Malchijah, Shimei, and Jemai, Malach, and Shimei. Of the sons of Hashem, Mattaniah, Mattaniah, Zabad, Eliphalet, Jeremiah, Manasseh, and Shimei. Of the sons of Bani, Madai, Amram, Yoel, Benaiah, Bedaiah, Cheluhi, Vania, Meramoth, Elisha, Mattaniah, Mattaniah, Jaisu. Of the sons of Benui, Shimei, Shelemiah, Nathan, Adaiah, Maccabitan, Machaniah, Debai, Shashai, Azarel, Shelemiah, Shemari, Shalom, and Mary, and Joseph. Of the sons of Nehemiah, Geo, Mattithiah, Zabad, Zabina, Jadai, Joel, and Benai. All these had married foreign women. Some of the women had even born children. Nehemiah 1-3. A word to Nehemiah the son of Hakaliah. Now it happened in the month of Chislev, on the 23rd, that I was in Susa, the citadel that Hanani, one of my brothers, came with certain men from Judah. I asked them concerning the Jews who escaped, who would survive the exile, and the standing in Jerusalem. And he said to me, the remnant there in the province who would survive the exile is in great trouble and shame. The wall of Jerusalem is broken down, and its gates are destroyed by fire. As soon as I heard these words, I sat down and wept and mourned for days. And I continued fasting and praying before the God of heaven. I said, O Lord, God of heaven, the great and awesome God who keeps covenant and steadfast love with those who love him and who keep his commandments. Let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayer of your servant that I now pray before you day and night for the people of Israel, your servant, confessing the sins of the people of Israel, which we have sinned against you. Even I and my father's house have sinned. We have acted very corruptly against you and have not kept the commandments, the statutes, and the rules that you command your servant Moses. Remember the word that you command your servant Moses, saying, if you are unfaithful, I'll scatter you among the peoples. If you return to me and keep my commandments and do them, though your outcasts are in the uttermost parts of heaven, and there I'll gather them and bring them to the place that I have chosen, to make my name dwell there. Here are your servants and your people whom you have redeemed by your great power with your strong hand. And Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of your son, and to the prayer of your servants who delight to fear your name, and give success to your servant today. Who will grant him mercy in the sight of this man. So I was cupbearer to the king. In the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, and when wine was before him, and I took of the wine and gave it to the king. Had I not been sad in his presence? And the king said to me, why is your face sad, seeing that you are not sick? He said, nothing but sadness of the heart. And I was very much afraid. I said to the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my face be sad? And the sea, the place of my father's grave, lies in ruin. And his gates have been destroyed by fire. And the king said to me, what are you requesting? So I prayed to the God of heaven, and I said to the king, if it pleases the king, and if your servant has found favor in your sight, that you send me to Judah, to the city of my father's grave, that I may rebuild. And the king said to me, how long will you be gone? When will you return? So it pleased the king to send me when I had given him time. And I said to the king, if it pleases the king, let it be given to me, give me to the governors of the province beyond the river, that they may let me pass through until I come to Judah. And a letter to Asaph, the keeper of the king's guard, and he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the fortress of the temple, for the before the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall occupy. And the king granted me what I asked, for the goodness of my God was upon me. And I came to the governors of the province beyond the river, and gave them the king's letters. Now the king had sent with me officers of the army and horsemen. But when Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the Ammonite servant heard this, it displeased them greatly that someone had come to seek the welfare of the people of Israel. So I went to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. And I arose in the night, I and a few men with me. I had told no one what my God had put into my heart to do for Jerusalem. There was no animal with me but the one on which I rode. I went up by night by the valley gate to the dragon spring unto the dung gate, and I inspected the walls of Jerusalem that were broken down, and its gates that had been destroyed by fire. And I went on to the fountain gate to the king's pool, but there was no room for the animal that was under me to pass. And I went up in the night by the valley and inspected the wall, and I turned back and entered by the valley gate, so I returned. And the officials did not know where I had gone, or what I was doing, and I had not yet told the Jews. The priests did know was the officials and the rest who were to do the work. And I said to you, see the trouble we are in. How Jerusalem lies in ruins with the gates burned. Come, let us build the wall of Jerusalem, that we no longer suffer derision. And told them of the hand of my God that had made upon me for good. And this is how the words of the king had spoken to me. And they said, let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands with the good work. And when Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the Ammonite servant, and Geshem the Arab heard of it, they jeered at us and despised us and said, what is this thing that you are doing? Why are you rebelling against the king? And I replied to them, the God of heaven will make us prosper, and we are servants who will rise and build. But you have no portion of royal claim in Jerusalem. Then Elisha the high priest rose up with his brothers the priests. Then they built the sheep gate, they consecrated and set its doors, they consecrated as far as the tower of the 100, as far as the tower of Hananel. And next to him the men of Jericho built, and next to him Zachar the son of Imri built. The sons of Hassanah built the fish gate, and laid its beams and set its doors, and its bolts, and its bars, and next to him Meremoth, and the son of Uriah, and son of Hakos repaired. Next to him Mishal, the son of Berechiah, son of Mishishabel, repaired. And next to them Zadok, the son of Baana, repaired. Next to them the Tekoites repaired. If the nobles were not stooped to serve their Lord, Joiada, the son of Paseah, and Mishal, the son of Besodeh, repaired the gate of Nishan. They laid its beams and set its doors, its bolts, and its bars. And next to them repaired Melatiah, the Gibeonite, and Jadon, the Meronothite, and met at Gibeon and Mizpah, and the sea of the governor of the province beyond the river. Next to him Uzziel, the son of Harhair, goldsmiths repaired. Next to him Hananiah, one of the perfumers, repaired. And they restored Jerusalem as far as the Bible. Next to them Raphael, the son of Har, ruler of half of the district of Jerusalem, repaired. Next to them Jedaiah, the son of Haramah, repaired opposite his house. And next to him Hattush, the son of Hashab, and repaired. Malchijah, the son of Haram, and Hashab, the son of Pasmah, repaired another section on the Tower of the Ovens. Next to Shalom, the son of Halahesh, ruler of half the district of Jerusalem, repaired. He and his daughters, Hanan and his inhabitants of Zanoah, repaired the valley. He rebuilt and set towards its bolts and its bars, and then repaired 1,000 cubits of the walls, as well as the dung gate. Alkisha, the son of Rechab, ruler of the district of Beth Hakko, repaired the dung gate. He rebuilt and set towards its bolts and its bars, and Sham, the son of Kolhozer, ruler of the district of Mizpah, repaired the fountain gate. He rebuilt and covered and set towards his bolts and his bars. Then he built the wall, the portal of the king's garden, as well as the stairs that go down from the city of David. After Nehemiah, the son of Azbuk, ruler of half the district of Bethesda, prepared to a point opposite the tombs of David, as well as the artificial pool, and as far as the house of the mighty men. After him the Levites repaired. Raham, the son of Bani, next to him Hashabia, ruler of half the district of Keilah, repaired for his district. After him their brothers repaired. Ravai, the son of Hebedah, ruler of half the district of Keilah. Next to him Ezra, the son of Jeshua, ruler of Mizpah, repaired another section opposite the house to the army at the buttress. After him Barak, the son of Zabbai, repaired another section on the buttress to the door of the house of Elisha, the high priest. After him Meremoth, the son of Uriah, son of Hakos, repaired another section from the door of the house of Elisha to the end of the house of Elisha. After him the priests, the men of the surrounding area, repaired. After them Benjamin and Hasha repaired opposite their house. After them Azariah, the son of Maaseiah, son of Ananiah, repaired beside his own house. And after him Benui, his son of Hadad, repaired another section from the house of Azariah to the buttress and to the corner. Palal, the son of Uzziah, repaired opposite the buttress in the tower projecting from the upper house of the king at the court of the god. After him Stay, the son of Parosh, in the temple servants living on Ophel, repaired to a point opposite the water gate on the east and the projecting tower. After him the Tekoites repaired another section opposite the great projecting tower, as well as the wall of Ophel. Above the horse gate the priests repaired, each one opposite his own house. After them Zadok, the son of Immer, repaired opposite his own house. After him Shemaiah, the son of Shechaniah, the keeper of the east gate, repaired. After him Hananiah, the son of Shalomir, and Hanan, the sixth son of Zalaph, repaired another section. After him one of the goldsmiths repaired, as well as the house of the temple servants and of the merchants, opposite the mustard gate, unto the upper chamber of the corner. Then between the upper chamber of the corner and the sheep gate, the goldsmiths and the merchants repaired. Proverbs 14. A wise woman builds a house by folly with her own hands, tears it down. Whoever walks in uprightness fears the Lord. Let the man use deeds in his ways despise him. By the mouth of a fool comes rod for his back. The lips of the wise will preserve them. Where there is no ox in the manger sleep, let abundant crops come by the strength of the ox. A faithful witness doesn't lie, but a false witness breathes out lies. A scoffer seeks wisdom in vain. But knowledge is easy for a man of understanding. Leave the presence of a fool, for they do not meet words of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to discern his way. That follow fools is deceiving. Fools mock at the guilt offering. That the upright enjoy substance. The heart knows its own business, and no shame shares its joy. And as the wicked will be destroyed, the tent of the upright will flourish. There's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. Even the laughter of the heart may, and the end of joy may be grief. The backsliding heart will be filled with the fruit of his ways, and coming will be filled with the fruit of his ways. The simple believes everything, but the prudent gives thought to his steps. One who is wise is cautious and turns away from evil. A fool is reckless and careless. A man of quick temper acts foolishly, and a man of evil devices his hate. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. You will bow down before the good. Look at the gates of the righteous. Fool is disliked even by his neighbor. That the rich have many friends. Whoever despises his neighbor has a sinner. That blessed is he who is generous to the poor. Should he not go astray who devises evil? Those who devise good meet steadfast love and faithfulness. And not all of those profit. And may talk turns early to cover. The kind of the wise is therewith, but the folly of fools brings folly. Truthful witness saves lies, and lightning breathes out lies is deceitful. In the fear of the Lord, one strong confidence, children will have refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, and one will turn away from the stress of death. In a multitude of people is the glory of a king, but without people a prince is ruined. And whoever is slow to anger is great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. Tranquil heart gives life to the flesh, and envy makes the bones roar. Whoever oppresses a poor man insults his maker. The he who is generous to the needy honors him. The wicked is overthrown through his evil doing, where the righteous finds refuge in his death. The man is doing rest in the heart of a man of understanding, and it makes himself known even in the midst of fools. Righteousness exalts a nation, but a sin is a reproach to any people. 70 dollars wisely has the king's favor, his wrath holds him one out shamefully. Psalm 22. my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me from the words of my groaning? Oh my God, but I cry by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but I find no rest. Yet you are holy and thrown on the praises of Israel. And your fathers trusted, they trusted, and you delivered them. And to you they cried out, rescue, and you they were trusted and were not put. They trusted and were not put to shame. And I am a worm and not a man, scorned by mankind and despised by the people. Always see me, mock me. They make mouths at me, they wag their heads. He trusts in the Lord, let him deliver them. Let him rescue him, for he delights in it. Yet you are he who took me from the womb, you made me trust you at my mother's breast. So you I was cast from my birth, and from my mother's womb you have been my God. Be not far from me, for trouble is near, and there is none to help. Any bulls that compass me, strong bulls of Bashan surround me. They open wide their mouths at me like a ravening and roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart is like wax, it is melted within my breast. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my strong tongue sticks in my jaws. You lay me in the dust of death, for dogs encompass me, the company of evil doers encircles me. They pierce my hands and feet, I can count all my bones. They stand and gloat over me, they divide my garments among them, and for my clothing they cast lots. But you, O Lord, be not far off. You are my help, come quickly to my aid. Deliver my soul from the sword, my precious life from the power of the dog. Save me from the mouth of the lion. You rescue me from the horns of the wild oxen, and I will tell your name to my brothers. In the midst of the congregation I will praise you. You who fear the Lord, praise him. All your offspring and Jacob glorify him. And stand in awe of him. Hail your offspring of Israel. He is not despised. He is not despised or abhorred the affliction of the afflicted. No, he is not hidden his face from his head when he cried to you. From me comes my praise in the great congregation. For my vows I'll perform before those who fear him. The afflicted shall even be satisfied. Those who seek him shall praise the Lord. May your hearts live forever. All the ends of the earth shall remember and turn to the Lord. Shall all the families of the nation shall worship before you. For kingship belongs to the Lord. He reigns rules over the nations. All the prosperous of the earth need and worship. Therefore one shall bow down all who go down to the dust. Even the one who could not keep himself alive. Posterity shall serve. It shall be told of the Lord to the coming generation. They shall come and proclaim his righteousness to people young that he has done it. Now the start nation actually the Lord's Prayer. These prayer hands the Father in heaven, and be your name. Your kingdom come, your reign on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. It is not temptation to those in the evil one. Give us the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.